Hello again everyone, and welcome back to the channel for what is episode number 12 in season 1 here at Williams Racing on our road to glory. Now, last time out around the Red Bull Ring, we managed to bring home our first ever victory for Williams Racing, which was of course very pleasing, but we did it in such a style that I do think it is necessary to take up the AI difficulty from 80, so that will be in, it won't be in assists, gameplay maybe, yep. So what I will do, guys, I have been playing around with it a little bit off air, and I've tried everything from 80 to 100 and everything in between, and I think that going up to a 90 is definitely a big enough a jump. I saw the difficulty change there, so I think we'll try 90 for a while, guys, and see how we get on there. Apart from that, I think everything will stay the same. So the AI difficulty has now went up to a 90, guys, and as you can see, all other settings are as normal. I will not change anything else. So, before we jump in today's episode, guys, if you are a new viewer to the channel, then please do subscribe and hit the notifications bell. There will be coming lots of new content to the channel in the coming weeks. So please do subscribe if you are a new viewer to the channel. If you do have any feedback for me, then please do leave it in the comment section below this video. So before we jump into the race weekend, guys, let's just have a quick look at the R&D tree here. We do have 700 points available to us here. So again, I will look at the recommended upgrade.
I recommend we could go for something like this,
which is the MG UK durability. So I will upgrade that one, which will cost us exactly 700 and should be on the car for the next Grand Prix, which is the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is fine. So I will develop that one, which leaves us then with no points. So without further ado, guys, let's just have a quick look at the tyre allocation we have available for us this weekend. Now, I think I will go for this one because it's more softer tyres available to us and it gives us a better race strategy tyre. So I will choose this one. And without further ado, guys, let's jump straight into the British Grand Prix race weekend. Okay, guys, so before I jump into these practice sessions here, let's just have a quick look to see what the weekend has in store for us here around Silverstone. So I will have a quick look at the messages here, which is a weekend preview, which is fine. And here is the weather forecast. So it will be a wet qualifying, guys, and the race will be dry. So that is good. So hopefully we can set ourselves a okay qualifying time. With the new AI difficulty going up to 90, I'm sure we won't be as high up the grid as we used to be in now. So hopefully we can set ourselves an okay time there. It gives us something to work with for Sunday's race. As you can see, we're still at the back here in the car standings. So I definitely need to try and get some more upgrades on the car before next season to make us as competitive as possible for next season. And this is also confirmation of the new contract that we did sign with Williams Racing previous to this race weekend here. So practice looks fine, guys. It looks like that will be dry. The short qualifying will be rainy and the race will be in the dry, which is very good. So I will jump into these practice sessions, guys, off camera, and I'll see you again for the short 18-minute qualifying. Okay guys, so here we are, just about to get underway with short qualifying here around Silverstone. Now in practice, our fastest time was a 1:29.8, which was bringing us into a 13th position. So I'm pleased that with the pace we have in the dry around here, around Silverstone, since we have taken the AI difficulty now up from an 80 to a 90. So if we can...
The rain looks like it's going to be getting much lighter over the next 10 to 15 minutes. There should be more grip, but don't expect a dry track.
So hopefully we can continue that pace in tomorrow's race. If we can be finishing in and around the top 10 now, after we've took the AI difficulty up, I'll be very, very pleased with that. So as you just heard on the radio there, the weather should be drying up within the next 10 to 15 minutes. But this is only a 20-minute qualifying session, so I won't be taking any gamble that the track will dry out enough. So I will jump straight out onto the track, guys, and I'll try and set us
a few cars out on track. We should consider getting out there.
And I'll try and set us the best benchmark time I can. And then we'll come in, we'll have a look at the overview, and then hopefully there's been a few more cars out on the track that have dried the track out for us, and then we can jump back out and improve our time.
Take it easy to start with. The track's wet.
So I just want to take it nice and easy on this outlap, guys. I will be going down into lean fuel mix on the outlap. I'll also be closing the ERS deploy to save it for the flying lap. So just nice and easy here, guys, to avoid any unnecessary damage on the car. So a 1:29.8 in practice brought us into a 13th position in the dry. So hopefully we can continue bringing that sort of pace in tomorrow's race. Because if we're able to finish in and around the top 10 tomorrow with a 90 AI, I'll be very, very pleased with that. But it should be a lot more difficult, and it will be, because I noticed in practice that they were a lot quicker. So we have a difficult task on our hands tomorrow, guys, to try and get any points. So there might go a couple of races now where we are not finishing in the points, but I think we will inevitably be better for it when we get used to the 90 AI. There's only one way to learn, and that is to practice and practice. So like I said, there might go a couple of races now, or 3 or 4 races now, where we don't finish in the points and we're finishing near the back. But that's the only way to learn. So this is still our first season here at Williams Racing. And I feel like we have been outperforming a lot. As I just needed to change the settings there, guys, before the flying lap. I should have done that on the straight. But here we go with our first flying lap here around Silverstone. So hopefully we can set ourselves a decent benchmark time here, guys. Try and stay in the racing line if I can, where it's as dry as possible. So again, guys, this lap here is just to set ourselves a benchmark time to see what type of time we can set here in the wet. And I will be back out again in the next 5 minutes or so after I've set this lap. Hopefully then the track has dried out a little bit more, and there'll be a little bit more rubber on the track with the more drivers that will be out setting their times. As I run very, very wide there. So as we saw before, guys, it looks like the... Oh, as I lock up the brakes there going into that, don't want to spin. I'm guessing we will be at a 20th here, guys. That puts us in 9th. As we get shunted out the way there by a Mercedes.
Forecast suggests the rain is going to be lightening up over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. You should start finding more grip as we clear the standing water.
So as you saw that, we got knocked out the way by what looked to be a Mercedes. I guess he was on his flying lap and we didn't get out the way quick enough for him, so we got a friendly shunt there. But now I will move off the racing line and that other car's passed, as I will be going back into the pits this lap. On you go, Mr. Norris. So what we will do, guys, is we will sit in the pits for a little bit. We will have a look at the overview.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
And hopefully we will let the track dry out just a little bit. With the more cars that are out setting their times, the drier the racing line will become, the more rubber that will be on the track. So hopefully we can come out near the end of the session and set ourselves a pretty decent lap here. As there's another car behind us, so I will move off the racing line again, let him past. But it doesn't look like he wants to go past. So into the pits we go, guys. I'll take up the overview. We can watch that for a couple of minutes, see how we're faring. We're already down to a 12th position now. George Russell is up in 11th. So I will let there go some time now, guys. Hopefully the track will dry out a little bit, and then we'll jump straight back out and try and better our time. So let's take up the overview here, guys. So as we can see, Charles Leclerc has set the fastest time with a 1:36.7, as Lewis Hamilton now comes in with a 1:36.4. So I will just scroll down, guys, to find where we are. We are currently down in P17 with a 1:43.6. So as you can see, we are way off the pace here, guys.
Okay, some quick lap times are now being posted. It's getting faster out there.
So hopefully as the track dries out, we can maybe set ourselves a little quicker time there. Maybe go up into around 15th or 16th position here for tomorrow's race, but time will show. As we drop down now to the back of the grid, as you can see by our sector times, in Sector 1, we are 2 seconds faster than Bottas.
Lap so far is a 1:43.6.
And in Sector 2, he is then a lot faster than us there, and he's 2 seconds faster than us in the last sector. So all in all, we have a lot of time to pick up, as I am 7 seconds behind the leader, guys. I'm 4 seconds behind Bottas, 3 seconds behind Bottas there. So no, I'm not.
To view information on your current levels of tyre wear and damage, press the MFD button to open the multifunction display, and then again to cycle to the tyres and damage screen.
So I will be jumping out again onto the track now, guys. Hopefully we can better our lap time. Hopefully we find a little bit more pace around here now. So let's jump straight out and see what we can do.
Let's go.
So like I stated before, guys, there may go a couple of races now where we're nowhere near the points, as I need to adjust now to the 90 AI. There's a bit of a jump there from 80 to 90. I'm very, very surprised to see Valtteri Bottas down there in 19th. So hopefully, guys, we can set ourselves a good lap here, push ourselves a bit further up the grid for tomorrow's race. So I just need to make sure that everything is turned up the way it should be as we start our flying lap here. So I'll fix that on the long straight coming down towards the pit straight there. As we come through the old stadium section here, start finish straight here, the old start finish straight here at Silverstone. Now I heard the Jeff said the track was getting a bit drier. I definitely don't think it is. If not, it's probably the same as it was before. It doesn't feel any drier. It still feels just as slippy as it was before. So here is where I will go up to hot lap and to max fuel mix, guys. Readying ourselves for our flying lap. This may be our final attempt here, as I'm not sure how long is left of qualifying. As we lock up again going into this corner here. So hopefully we can find some more pace now, guys. So I'm trying my best to concentrate now and not to spin. I want to try and push us as high up the grid as I can for tomorrow's race. As there is now 5 minutes left of qualifying, guys.
2 laps of fuel remaining.
You definitely can't use the same lines as you would in the wet, in the dry. So hopefully this is a better lap time now, guys, as we see our delta is bettered by almost 2.5 seconds. So hopefully we can keep pushing that up.
Heat rain's easing off a bit, but the track is still going to be wet for a while.
As I go very wide there, and I've lost ourselves some time there as I almost spin here. So we almost had... So we were almost 3 seconds up on ourselves there, guys, and then a poor last section there. I'll lock up into the second to last corner, almost spinning out of the last corner, has cost us dearly there, as we did not better our time enough. So I will cool this lap down, guys. I will go back into the pits, as I don't believe we have enough fuel for one more lap around. So I'll see how much time we have left, guys, when I get back to the pits. Hopefully we have time to come back out. If not, it looks like we'll be starting tomorrow's Grand Prix from the back of the grid here, which will be very challenging for us, but it's more realistic. We are the worst car on the grid. If you remember looking at the R&D tree there, we are quite a ways behind the teams ahead of us. So I think this makes it a lot more realistic that we'll be starting more from behind at the back of the grid, guys. So I think this will be the end of our qualifying session here. There's two and a bit minutes left, as I'm just on my way into the pits now. I don't think I'll have time to go in and then come back out again. So I do think that is the end of our qualifying session, guys. We will be starting from P20 in tomorrow's race. The only positive for tomorrow's race though is that it is in the dry. So hopefully we can pick up a couple of positions there. And to be honest, I really don't feel like I have the pace to better that time anymore now in the wet. So I'll just stay in the pits, guys, and we'll watch the overview, as there is only probably about one and a half minutes left of qualifying now. So here we go. I will take up the overview screen here. As we see, Lewis Hamilton is still in first with a 1:36.4. Followed by Charles Leclerc with a 1:36.7.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:41.5.
So there is currently only 4:10 split in the top four, guys, in qualifying time. So it looks like it's going to be very tight in tomorrow's race. Let's go down to the bottom here to see where we are, as we bettered our time just a little bit. So we are now currently just over a second behind Valtteri Bottas, who is still down in 19th position here. But I see he's out on his flying.
We're 20th in the speed trap, 316.6 kilometers per hour.
But I see he's out on his flying lap, so I don't expect Valtteri Bottas to be starting down in 19th in tomorrow's race. So it will be interesting to see, guys, where everyone ends up. So there is currently 35 seconds left in the session. So I will just watch this screen now until the end of qualifying. As all the top four, except Verstappen, is out trying to better their lap time here. So here we go, guys, to see the final confirmation here.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Bottas, Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So as we can see, Valtteri Bottas, who is sitting down in 19th, one position ahead of us, is now on pole position for tomorrow's race. So let's just go down and quickly have a look where we ended up, guys. We ended up 5 seconds off provisional pole there. We were 2 seconds behind our teammate here, so I think this makes it a lot more realistic that we are up on the 90 AI level. I think that is the best option that we could have done.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Albon. Ricciardo, Norris, Stroll, and Kimi Raikkonen. Sainz, Perez, Esteban Ocon, and Kvyat. Giovinazzi, Gasly, Romain Grosjean, and Kevin Magnussen. Russell and Jones. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So there we have it, guys. After a disappointing wet qualifying yesterday, we are starting from P20. We are last on the grid. So it's going to be really difficult for us to make our way through the field today, guys. I have adjusted the AI difficulty from an 80 to a 90. So that'll make it even more difficult for us to make our way through the field. So let's just have a quick look at the race strategies that we have available for us today. The first strategy here is from the soft compound to the medium compound, which will then require us to come in around lap 7 or 8 to change over to the mediums. Or we could go for the alternative strategy, which is 9 or 10 laps on the soft compound and then 3 or 4 laps on the hard compound. So I will go for the alternative strategy, and I will try and stretch our tyres a little bit and see if I can't make up a few places that way, that we can gain a couple of places when teams go in to change their tyres. So I will go for the alternative strategy. I will also take on just a little bit more fuel, guys, so I can run in rich mode a little bit longer down those long straights. So that is our strategy set and ready for today, guys. So before we start the race, if you are a new viewer to the channel, then please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss any further content that is coming to the channel. There is currently content coming to the channel every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So if you have any feedback for me, guys, then please do also leave it in the comment section underneath this video. I would really appreciate to hear your guys' feedback if you're enjoying the series or if there's anything you'd like to see done differently. So without further ado, guys, let's jump straight into the British Grand Prix. So engage the clutch up into rich fuel mix here, guys. I will use the overtake button off the line. And it's go, go, go. Not a bad start from us here. Just be careful coming down to turn 1 here. So I'll have a look down the inside here, see if we can't gain a position or two. So it looks like we just took Magnussen there. I will use the overtake and stay in rich fuel mode coming down this long straight here, as we have our teammate George Russell just ahead of us here, guys. So we managed to gain 1 place here off the start, guys. I will initiate the overtake button again through this fast section here. So hopefully we can catch back up to the pack in front of us here. Down a gear, back on the power. This section here is flat out, guys. Drop down a gear, drop down quickly to 5th, back on the power. So we're gaining on our teammate George Russell here. I don't think we're close enough to have a look down here, as Magnussen is pressing us from behind here, guys. So we need to be careful that we don't lose a position to Magnussen, as well as we're trying to close the gap to our teammate George Russell. So that was the first lap, guys, of the Grand Prix. We managed to gain 1 position as we lock up the brakes there a little bit. And we see Magnussen closes the gap a little bit more to us here. As the pack ahead are pulling away from us just a little bit, guys. As we lock up again there, just a little bit. I can definitely see the difference now since the AR went up to 90. I'm having more trouble catching them now, but that makes it more realistic as Magnussen comes to have a look down the inside of us, so we have to close the door there. So this section here is flat out, guys, and then we drop down a quick gear there, down into 5th here, back on the power. I will open the overtake button to try and close the gap up to George Russell. So we lock up a little bit there. I need to try and be careful with these tyres, guys. I do want to make them last until lap 10 if I can.
DRS is now enabled.
So hopefully in the coming laps I can close the gap a little bit to our teammate here. As we lock up again there, guys. But Magnussen will have DRS on us here, so I'm going to have to use the overtake and up into rich fuel mix. So we can try and fend off Magnussen. Close the overtake there. As we see, we have closed the gap a little bit to our teammate.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
That's not exactly the message that we want when we're trying to make our way through the field, that we're going to be losing a little bit of power. So I think it will come down to pit strategies, guys. I hope we have picked the right one by being able to stay out an extra lap or two, as I will use up a little bit more of our overtake here to try and close the gap just a little bit more to George Russell here. And we have done that nicely. We have it down to under half a second. So hopefully we can stay in this range, guys, as then we will have DRS on him on the long straight. As we have managed to pull just out a DRS.
Excess on fuel. Mix 3 is there if you need it. Mix 3.
And we've managed to put a second between ourselves and Magnussen, so hopefully we can keep that there, guys. So he won't have DRS on us on this long straight that's coming up here. So I will use DRS and overtake to try and close the gap to Russell. As I click the wrong button there, trying to take off the overtake, there we go. So hopefully we can close the gap a little bit more to Russell now, guys. I will use a bit of overtake. We don't have that much left. So I'll just use a little bit there just to try and close the gap just a little bit more to Russell, sorry. As we have now put 2 seconds between ourselves and Kevin Magnussen. As we are now right on the tail of our teammate, guys. As I exceed the traffic limits just a little bit there. As we lock up again there. Hopefully we're close enough now to Russell to be able to use both DRS and overtake and get the move done. As we are now very close to George Russell, guys, so hopefully we can get the move done on the next long straight here. Hopefully I can stay within striking distance, as we have currently done 5 laps of 13 here around Silverstone.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Okay, copy that.
As we lost a bit of time there in Sector 2, guys. But taking the AI difficulty up to 90 has definitely made it more realistic. The Williams are where they should be. So now we are fighting with our teammate for 18th. We're not able to fully close the gap on Russell to make a move on him yet. As we now have 2.6 seconds down to Magnussen behind us. So now we can solely focus on our teammate here, George Russell. As I lock up the brakes there just a little bit, lose a bit of time towards George Russell here. Overtake and rich mode to try and close that gap just a little bit, guys, as we are closing nicely to him here.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the hards.
So I'm guessing the other teams will have to come in now around this or the next lap, guys, to change their soft tyres, the people that are going over to the medium compound. As I lock up the brakes a lot there, guys, we lose a little bit of time to Russell. But I will use the rest of the overtake and the DRS wing to try and close the gap just a little bit, guys. So hopefully, when we come past the pits now, we can make up a couple of places here. I don't think we will be in the points today, guys. I can totally see the change in the AI after taking it up from 80 to 90. As we see Gasly and Russell is going in for his pit stop. He will be going over to the medium tyre, guys. So I will go up into Rich.
George is coming in for his stop.
And I will push as hard as I can on this lap, guys, as we will be going in 2 laps time. So that is us currently up into a P12, guys. But that is before our pit stop. We have Hamilton 2.2 seconds behind us. So I'll open the overtake here on this long straight, keep us in rich mode.
Gap to car in front is 7.1 seconds.
As Hamilton is closing the gap on his fresher soft tyres. He's now got it down to 1.7 seconds. So hopefully we can make up a few more places on this lap as well, guys, if people are yet to go into the pits.
The car behind has boxed for the mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre.
As we can see, Hamilton has almost took 2 seconds off us in almost a full lap. So he is flying on his new medium tyres.
We're going to box this lap, push hard on the in-lap. We're leading our teammate by 27.5 seconds.
So that's us up into P5 currently, guys, but that is before the pit stop. So I'll use the DRS on Hamilton and rich fuel mix. So I'm really trying to get some valuable seconds between us and the cars behind us, guys. As we have Charles Leclerc now pushing us from behind, and Valtteri Bottas. So as you can see, the new design of the Mercedes is in the game now. There was a new patch that came out 2 days ago. So we do have the new Mercedes design in the game now. So I will stay out for one more lap, guys. One more lap after this one here. So we will be boxing on the end of lap 10.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
So we're currently up to a P3, guys, but that is also before we have taken our pit stop. And as you can see on the mini-map, there's a lot of cars just behind us there. So I do expect after our pit stop to be coming out around a P. As I spin there, guys, almost lost it. I expect to come out around a P13, 14, guys, after our pit stop, if we're lucky. So we will be boxing this lap, guys. I just hope that we manage to put enough space between ourselves and the cars in the middle of the pack.
Fuel is looking really good. You're managing it well. Right, come in at the end of this lap.
So we will be boxing this lap, guys, as the grip on our soft tyres is totally gone. So this will be our one and only pit stop, guys, as we have dropped all the way down to P10 very quickly. So my guess was that we'll be coming back out around P13, P14, but as I can see on the mini-map, all the cars are very tight together here, so it looks like our gamble might not have paid off the way we wanted it to.
Go, go, go.
So that's us down in P17, guys, after our pit stop, so hopefully we can make up a place or two.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
So that puts us down at the back, guys. P19, as Carlos Sainz did retire from the race. So hopefully we can make a move on Magnussen and Russell before the end of the race. But Russell and Magnussen are on the medium compound. We are on the hard compound, so it might be hard to gain on them, guys, since they are on the quicker compound tyre.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
So I will use a bit of overtake here on this long straight, guys. Go up into rich fuel mix. Trying desperately to close the gap between ourselves and Kevin Magnussen ahead of us. It looks like it will be a disappointing day for us today, guys. Looks like we will be finishing the day down in P19. But I do suspect that it will take us maybe 3 or 4...
The gap to the car ahead is 2.4 seconds.
But like I said, I do suspect it will take us 3 or 4 races to get used to this newer and harder AI that we have set now. As we need to start gaining some more points to be able to put upgrades on the car as well. So the quicker that we can improve the car, the quicker we'll be able to gain positions, guys. As I run a little bit wide there, trying to push as hard as I can now to catch up to Kevin Magnussen. So I'll use some overtake going through this quick section here. It doesn't look like I'm able to get the gap down any more than around 2.3 seconds, guys. So I will use overtake here on this straight here. So unfortunately for us, guys, as we're entering our last lap here around Silverstone,
This is your final lap of the race.
it does not look like I'll be able to catch either Russell or Magnussen, sorry. As I go very, very wide there as we lock up the brakes. Trying to push very hard now, but I don't think we'll be able to catch them up, guys. So hopefully we'll learn from this race weekend. We had a very disappointing qualifying yesterday in the wet. And the AI up at 90, I just haven't been able to catch them. As I use the last little bit of overtake we have.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
So it looks like we will be coming into P19, guys. P19.
Our gap to the car in front is 2.0 seconds.
But I have enjoyed having the AI up on 90, guys. It has been challenging. So I can't wait to grow with this challenge and get better as a driver, since the competition is a lot more difficult now. So it's P19 for us, guys. P19.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
As Daniel Ricciardo gets driver of the day here around Silverstone.
Plenty of action here at Silverstone. It was a memorable race, and what an impressive victory. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Daniel Ricciardo certainly impressed me today, an incredible performance.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So let's just have a quick look what that has done to the standings, guys. We are currently still sat in 7th position in the driver standings. We have 10 points down to Daniel Ricciardo. So I suspect that we will lose ground in the driver standings since we have took the AI difficulty up to a 90. I suspect that we will start not finishing in the points. In the constructor standings, we have dropped down a position, down to 6th. We have 66 points, and McLaren went ahead of us with 67 points. So let's jump ahead and look at the final preview, guys. So there we have it, guys. That was the British Grand Prix. So after a very disappointing qualifying for us in the wet, we qualified to P20, which was the back of the grid. During the race, we managed to make up 1 place off the start there. We went up to P19 when we took over Kevin Magnussen. During the race, we weren't really able to close the gap to the cars ahead. We managed to jump up the grid nicely when other cars went in for their pits. But all in all, after we went in and put on the harder compound, we dropped back down to P19. So it is noticeably more difficult now that the AI is on 90, but I cannot wait for the challenge. I really hope this does improve me as a driver as well, that I managed to better my own skills now that the AI is so difficult. That'll make me just that little bit better of a driver as well. So let's just advance quickly ahead to the Hungarian Grand Prix, guys. Get those weekly resource points and get that other upgrade on the car. So I just want to jump quickly into the R&D tree, guys, and use those 1,000 points that we have available to us here. So let's just see if we can afford anything here. It doesn't look like we can. It looks like everything will cost about 1,200 points. We could develop this one maybe on chassis. But I don't feel that's where it's most needed. We are at the bottom here in the chassis department and in the aerodynamics department. So I really feel like they're the 2 departments that we should be focusing on, guys. And it doesn't look like I can afford any upgrades on these parts as of now. So I will wait until after we have finished practice in the next episode, and I will upgrade those then. So if you are a new viewer to the channel and you have enjoyed what you've seen, then please do subscribe to the channel. Please do leave a like on this video. There is new content coming to the channel every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So please do subscribe. Please do leave a like on the video. If you have any feedback for me, then please do leave it in the comment section below this video. I would really be interested in hearing you guys' feedback after we've took the AI difficulty up to 90. If that's what you guys want to see, if you want to see anything differently done, if you would like to see qualifying put back to 1-shot qualifying, if you would like me to do all 3 qualifying sessions, just please let me know in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next episode, which will be the Hungarian Grand Prix.